Hello, I'm Professor Seth Frey, and we're going to walk through the Reddit demo. Reddit is a big discussion platform. It calls itself the front page of the internet, and what's interesting about it is composed of millions and millions of small communities run by people on Reddit who are excited about talking about things they share in common. Things you might have heard of, or Today I Learned, and AMA, and something about Thursday. Oh yeah, Throwback Thursday. More obscure ones. I always get a kick out of shower thoughts. Not the shower thoughts are not thoughts that are about the shower. Turns out. So you've likely or not accessed it through a browser. We're going to access it the way you've always accessed it in terms of content, but through Python. So I'm just going to, I'll have our boilerplate running in the background while I chat us up. So there's the really key here is pra. That's the Python Reddit API wrapper. You don't actually have to know that. Remember, boilerplate, we don't have to understand it. You just run it. You all may also, by now, be familiar with our authentication process. I open this up. I hit my little button. I'm going to load up my own credentials, and I keep running. And now we're ready to interact with Reddit in Python. So it turns out that there are some funny little subreddits out there. We're going to go to one called Is Today Thursday, and another called Is Today Christmas. Is Today Christmas asks whether today is Christmas. We're getting it. I've clicked you to the specific day of Christmas. If we actually go to the subreddit, is today Christmas? No, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, 4 days ago. Where I'm recording, it has been about 2 months. So let's scroll down and see when Christmas was. I can gladly say yes, look at that. And if we go back 365 posts before that, well, we're likely also to see I can gladly say yes. So that's Is Today Christmas. And here's Is Today Thursday. And it says no, 6 days of the week, and yes, 1 day of the week. So these are both written by bots. These are bots posting content to Reddit. And so they provide very kind of well-formatted data. If we could automatically read every post every day, we'd be able to know if today's a Thursday. We'd be able to know if today's Christmas, or we'd be able to tell Python to know sort of automatically in case we needed that help. And with Python logic, we can combine them. So we're going to access with this line to the posts of Is Today Thursday. We're going to access with this line the posts of r/Is Today Christmas. If we run them, we go to the internet, and then we set up a connection, then if we run these, we're able to set the value of Is Today Thursday. We'll do exactly the same thing for a little variable is Thursday. Another little variable is Xmas. And then we can just use a simple if statement. If is Thursday and is Xmas, print that today is a Thursday Christmas. Now, this if statement only works 1 day of, 1 day of the year at best. There's not a lot of Christmases that fall on Thursdays, so it's pretty rare this will ever output anything. I'd have to make a special effort. Regardless, the point stands. And here I'll hit this little plus button, and we can print out. So you can find out when I'm recording, or you can at least narrow down when I'm recording by finding out the value I'm getting for Is Thursday. I'm not recording on a Thursday. Am I recording on a Christmas? No, I happen not to be recording on Christmas. I'm going to make this go away. Boop. Okay. So this is a simple demonstration that when you're interacting with well-structured Reddit posts, which tend to be the Reddit posts offered by bots, you're able to bring the content to the internet into Python and do simple logic operation. Now, let's come up with something a little more interesting, slightly. We've got r/movie details. Let's visit that. Let's see what we see. Here's r/movie details. Now, this is people who are astute observers of film. So we've got something from Boogie Nights, 1997. What I want you to notice is that every title is going to have the movie name and year in the title. If we scroll down, Addams Family 91, Following 99. Oh, this has two. Memento 2001. Surf's Up 2007. Nimona 2023. So what we have here are people opining about movies, and these could be observations of things they admire or not. And they have lots of comments, 378 comments. These are likes, 141 comments. Right here, just one comment. So we are going to access the most recent posts. And so with this variable right here, we're getting the 10 most recent reviews. We're just going to start learning about the subreddit movie details, r/movie details, by printing out our movie details. That title gives us which we're looking at movie details. Here's the URL, r/. It was created in 2017. It's in English. It has 248 active users right now and over 4 million subscribers. As we go deeper, we can actually, there's other assets. There's an underlying object in Python representing the qualities of every subreddit when we enter the name of any subreddit right here. And that'll also give us its banner and its little header image. We can also pull out its description. And actually, if we look at Rule 4. Titles must include the movie name and release year. So here we have a social norm set by the moderators. It's going to make humans comply with this sort of basic rule, movie name and year in every title. And we're going to be able to use that to go a little further and automatically access it. You can also access the rules more directly if you figure out the API a little bit. And you can actually get a full listing of everything about movie details that's available. I usually scroll down, and active user count. These get pretty subtle. Allow discovery. Is it safe for work is in there. Emoji flare. You can have custom emoji and so on. Who are the is there a moderator? Who are the moderators? Are you the moderator? Is it over 18? That's the NSFW flag, and so on. So you can see there's a very complete listing of available information about every subreddit. Now, in addition to learning about every subreddit, we can learn about every comment. So I have here an observation about the opening scene of Wall-E, the Pixar movie? And so just like we were able to get a bunch of information about the subreddit, we can get a bunch of information about the post, who wrote it. Here's the URL if you want to visit it and confirm all this. How many upvotes did it get? How many comments did it get? Quite a few. It's a post that is several years old, and we can get the content of the post, which happens to be empty because I think it was an image. We can confirm that. Yeah. So the post content was an image, so it doesn't have any word content. Yet it had a lot of comments, and comments themselves we can pull down with this code. So we're putting in the post.comments, and we use the for loop to loop through all the comments and kind of collect them. That's how we're able to get the most recent 100 of the almost 1,500 comments that were there. Let's just look at the first of them that we can see. There's a user. This comment had so many upvotes and downvotes, and we can ask if this person was the original poster. Those are just 4 examples of the metadata available about every comment. And once again, we can observe the text of the comment. It's about trash. So what have we done? We've learned that every post is going to have a title that includes a movie name in it. We've learned how to get the text of every comment on every post, and so now let's get the sentiment of comments. So, do people respond with positive emotive language or negative affect in responding to a post? we can loop through all. These are the 100 comments we were able to get our hands on through the limited Python Reddit API wrapper. And I've given you code here to get sentiment analysis working. We're going to feed the text of every comment into a sentiment analyzer. And this is a bunch of ugly boilerplate that's going to give us a bunch of sentiment scores for every comment. So we have mostly positive scores, a few neutral scores for comments that maybe had no text or were very terse, and then some negative scores, okay? Now, what I want to do is I kind of threw away which actual comment we're talking about. So in this next code block, we're going to put, right here, we're going to print out the sentiment computed next to the text so we can actually confirm. We have the word completely useless, which gives this a negative valence, while we have, oh, well, I don't know, that seems kind of negative. Sort of sarcastic. This particular sentiment detector has trouble detecting sarcasm, but more recent tools make that easier to handle. Regardless, there is overall a positive correlation between the sort of human-determined sentiment of a comment and the sentiments extracted by even these very simple sentiment analysis tools. We're going to go further. So I'm going to make a leap here. I'm going to say that this is a little unfair, but bear with me. If you like a movie, you don't care really about the detail. Your comment's going to be positive. And if you don't like a movie, you don't care about how interesting the detail was that got posted by some user. You're going to leave a more negative comment. If you buy that assumption, take it or leave it, then the average sentiment of all the comments will give us the sort of what the people think about every movie. Because remember, one post, one movie. So let's run that, and we're going to get instant movie ratings of Reddit in terms of sentiments. So, and what do we get? We get, well, again, this was our strange exception that they put 2 movies and years in, so let's ignore that. I'm seeing kind of meh about In the Lighthouse. I'm seeing positive regard for Addams Family 91. I'm seeing little interest in Blade 2. That scans. What do we got that's higher? Last Samurai, 0.54. People like it. Do we have more negative? And people are not a big fan, potentially, of Wallace and Gromit at close shave. So these are all examples. Now, you'll notice that most of these are positive. Does that mean most people like most movies? It actually is a bias in language, English language and human language. Language fills a social function, and we are coded to affiliate with each other, and so that leads to a little something called algorithmic bias. That because speech tends to be positive. And because the algorithm to detect sentiment is trained on the speech that people use, there will tend to be a positive bias in its detections. So this is encoding, in some ways like our biology, our physiology, the way we are, in the algorithm because it was trained on data rather than some high-level theory about, the feelings in text. Now, this is a relatively benign example of algorithmic bias. More serious examples are when judges use AI to make sentencing decisions of people in the criminal justice system, and the data training those algorithms is drawn from a world that already has encoded biases against certain demographics like African Americans. So I'll give you links to several more pernicious examples, including also insurance pricing, to flesh out this idea of the data we use, the data we instrument our tools on can influence how they act and can encode social biases, even in seemingly objective things like a classifier, a sentiment classifier in our case. So we just got a few examples to learn how to reproduce a lot of activity in Python that we'd normally do through a browser. We got to extend a little bit our reach by reading, hundreds of posts, thousands of comments automatically, and chugging them down into a couple numbers that tell us about our world. And through all that, take something that we're familiar with and look at it in a new way. So thank you for playing along with me, and have fun.